What's going on, everybody? Liam O'Reilly, Vermont economic realtor. Hope you're doing well. Wanted to make a video today talking about my opinion regarding prices in Vermont, specifically around Chittenden County in the upcoming months, and really why I don't see a large decrease in prices in the near future. Um, when you talk to realtors, and if you're a buyer or a seller, and you ask a lot of realtors around the area, when are prices going to come back down? I mean, that's, as a seller, I'm sure that's not what you're wondering, but as a buyer, a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines and wondering, when are prices going to come back down? And a lot of realtors will, they'll just say, look, prices aren't going to come back down, and they're not. They haven't come back down in the past relative to other markets. They don't. Vermont and Chittenden County doesn't fluctuate like you might see in cities like Miami or states like California. So I wanted to dig into the data and take a look at what's going on, what's happened in the past, and try to see what will happen in the future, and really get to the core of why I have the opinions that I do. So let's take a look at everything here. We're going to switch over from this chart to this graph here. Median home sales price in Chittenden County is what this graph is showing. So if you look at, this goes all the way back to 1988, and I'll leave the link for all of these charts that I'm showing in the description. So if you look at what happened in 2007, we have this nice run up here. Things kind of flatten out, and then this is when the median home price nationally crashed. Vermont declined by around 3% overall, and then it flattened out. Or this is not Vermont, excuse me, Chittenden County. Then it flattened out, and then you can see even before the pandemic, we started having this big price increase, and now in 2021, things have shot up. So if you look at what happened here in 2004, 2003, prices were 184,000 roughly. And then you go up to 2007 at the peak. They peaked out at 242,750, which is an increase about 32%, followed by a decrease from, let's call it 243 down to 235 in 2009 when things bottomed out. And that, that's a decrease of 3.2% compared to the 19% average over those 2 years nationally on a median level. And when you think about the financial conditions of 2009 compared to today, I mean, leading up to that crash, builders were confident. So there was a good amount of inventory on the market. I'm going to switch back to full screen here. There's a good amount of inventory on the market. Builders were building confidently all the way up until, I think leading up until 2007. And that's why there were stories of, all these vacant homes, all this inventory on the market nationally. I mean, definitely around here in Vermont, especially compared to the environment that we're in now. And then at the same time, it was very difficult to get financing as a buyer. Unemployment was much higher. Unemployment today in Vermont is at 2.3%. Back in 2009, unemployment was 6.6% at its peak. So almost 3 times higher, 3 times as many people were unemployed at that time. And then also the people that are selling were people that needed to sell. These are people that are being foreclosed on, people that can't afford their payments, people that had teaser rates. Their income wasn't verified when they got these mortgages, so a higher percentage of people weren't qualified for the homes that they had. Compared to now, where there's strict lending requirements. People are well qualified for the homes that they're in. There's a ton of equity. 75% of homeowners in Vermont have over 50% equity in their home. So there's not so much pressure to sell. And then on top of that, the rental market is very strong because it's so hard to get a home right now that would-be home buyers are hopping into the rental market. And so if a seller can't get the price that they're after, it's pretty easy for them to go in and rent their property. So that's what's going on now. That's kind of a comparison between those two markets. But if we go back to the charts here, So, and we think about where inventory was relative to where buyers were. So, in my opinion, with the data that I have, the best way to judge where buyer sentiment around 2009 are the number of homes that were sold. So this is a chart. Instead of charting the median home price, this is the volume of transactions. And you can see, look at all the transactions that took place leading up to this 2008 crash. There's 2004, 2005, 3,000 homes, 2006, 2,400, 2007, 2,100, and then it goes all the way down to 1,500 here at 2009. And we haven't seen a bottom that low since then, but that's a good number to to kind of keep in mind as the basis of where transactions are, even when unemployment is high. When it's difficult to get financing, there's still around 1,500 homes that are out there, and really, the 1,500 homes that are sold, the constraint on that is on the buy side, where now, we think about the constraint being on the sell side because way more um, there are way more buyers than there are sellers. So if we had more homes, we would sell more homes, right? In 2021, we sold around 2,000 homes, as you can see there. And if you know it, if there were more homes available, then more homes would have been sold. There's so many multiple offer situations. Prices got bid up. There's a bunch of buyers who are either priced out of the market or didn't have strong financing and couldn't compete against buyers who were putting a large down payment down, waiving contingencies, things along those lines. So the constraint was really has been on the supply side for the past few years. But back in 2009, the constraint was now it's on the sell side. Back in 2009, the constraint was on the buy side because if you look at the inventory back then, so this is a chart. I'm switching gears now. Let me get us over. So this is a chart from 2011. And if you look at the row second to the bottom here, it says inventory of homes for sale. That is the active inventory on the market. Right now this isn't just for Chittenden County, so that's important to keep in mind. This is for Chittenden County, Franklin County, and Grand Isle County. So this 1,100 homes for sale, about 70% of them are in Chittenden County. Chittenden County sold just under 1,700 homes in the course of the year. So the homes for sale in November, which is a bottom, I mean that's in 2011 is probably around 700, 800 in Chittenden County alone. But regardless, there was a lot of inventory. I mean, almost half of the amount of homes that are going to be sold in Chittenden County were on the market at the low time of year in November of 2011. And then, as you can see from the graph down there, so again, this is the line. The second skinny line, it's tough to see, was the 2010 number, and that was about 1,300. So using that as a reference, the peak of these are probably around maybe 2,000, maybe a little less than that, around 1,800 homes throughout all three counties for sale, which is significant. I mean, inventory is significant. There's more inventory than there are demand. And another good indicator of that is look at the percentage of original list price received. So we see that here. I'm highlighting it there. It's two rows up from the inventory of homes for sale. 93% of the purchase price received this year, or I guess in this month, in November. And that's the same as it was the year before. And if you look to the left, you can see the chart. It looks like it bottomed out in around 2008. So those are people who need to sell their home, who have it listed for what the price used to be, but are negotiating with the buyer to knock the price down. And if we compare that to October of 2022 here, let me switch this back over. So here's the chart from October of 2022. Look at the inventory. Excuse me. The inventory is at 262. So well under that 1100 mark that we had in November of 2011, which, if we remember, go back to our chart here. November of 2011, prices were relatively stable. There were 1,100 homes on the market throughout those three counties, probably around 800 in Chittenden County, 1,700 homes sold. It's a buyer's market at this time. Sellers are negotiating. They're taking under list price. They are, they're not getting multiple offers nearly as often as they are today. And now here in 2022 in October, supply is extremely low. Percentage of original price received, basically 100%. And really, prices are starting to stabilize, but the supply is the big issue here. So, I guess to bring this all full circle here, what I'm really trying to say is that in 2009 and beyond into 2011 and those following years, supply supply exceeded demand. It was difficult to get loans. It was tough to purchase property. It was unemployment was much higher than it is today, and inventory or home prices on a median basis throughout Chittenden County only dropped by 3.2%. So if we are to see, similar circumstances to that, if the unemployment rate tripled, if the supply, we need 5 times the amount of supply on the market. If those things happened and the demand stayed where it's at, really if those things happen, then the floor for demand should be right around 1,500 homes per sale or sold per year. That should be the low end of the buyers that are coming in and transacting, purchasing properties here in Vermont, here in Chittenden County. And if if that's the low end, we're either going to need to see unemployment go higher than 6.6% to affect the amount of buyers that are able to purchase these properties. We're going to need to see inventory or rates go higher to take out the demand in the market, or we're going to need to see inventory go higher than it was in 2011 or 2008. So if on the low season, we're seeing around 2,000 homes on the market, and on the high end, we're seeing around 4,000 in the summer months, then I think we're going to see then we could see prices come down significantly, probably significantly more than 3%. But I think we have a long way to go before we are in a market condition that mimics these scenarios or that is worse. That's approaching 2008 and will end up being worse than 2008 was. So longer video today. I hope it was helpful for you folks. I'm probably going to do multiple series analyzing the data from years past and comparing it to where things are at now. I mean, overall, I just think that we have such a long way to go before we see a major price decline. I mean, that 3.2% was over 2 years, and the market conditions currently, both in the labor market and the housing market, they're not there yet to to cause demand to fall far enough, or to cause supply to rise high enough so that we see a significant decrease in price. Anyway, Liam O'Reilly, Vermont Economic Realtor. I got a new camera, which is how I was able to do this video. I'm trying things out. I'm still getting the hang of it. But if you're interested, if you would like to purchase or sell a home in Vermont, all my contact information is listed below. I'd be happy to help you. If you're interested in purchasing a property throughout the country, I'd be happy to find you a great realtor. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of this video, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. I love hearing your opinion and your stats, and it helps make me more informed, helps give me new perspectives. And I always love hearing from you guys. So anyways, Lee Morale, Vermont Economic Realtor. I will see you in the next video.